As we left Kunming to explore more of the Yunnan province, we travelled east and north, up into the mountains. This is the beginning of that journey. After driving for a couple of hours to reach Chuxiong, we dropped our bags in the hotel and visited the Zixi Yi relocation village first. The entire experience was extremely surreal. From the fake foliage to the empty streets and past East bridges, we learned more about the village and culture as we visited more buildings on the tour. We were extremely lucky to have the insight of the lead architects to explain different aspects of the project to us, as well as our tutors to help explain and translate. I can't quite begin to explain how eerie this place felt. To kind of summarise the project, the built town was a relocation of a traditional village, attempting to synthesise the values of their culture while teaching hospitality skills for tourism. And as I understand it, there have been less sympathetic attempts in the past, but as a group, we felt there were lots of elements throughout that made us feel very uncomfortable. We worried and wondered if the true spirit of the Yi people had been replaced. On a more positive note, there were elements of the project that worked to preserve and understand the interesting culture of the Yi people. The language, religion and way of life had somewhat been analysed for preservation for future generations to understand, even if the final execution wasn't as successful as it hoped to be. It's hard to culminate my feelings about this place. It was certainly very different from a lot of things we had seen and were going to see on this trip, but it's also something that we're privileged to not have to manage in the West. I can see both sides of the argument, and I just hope that one isn't erased in the future. But Chuxiong was a completely different story. When we returned to Chuxiong, the streets were filled with market stalls in anticipation of a daily celebration. This lasted on until the night with lots of things to see, do and explore.
Hey, people are dancing.
I want you to take me back home. I want you to take me back home.
As the fireworks, music and shop sellers continued into the night, there were a few funny stories to tell. Quite notably, receiving a stuffed toy as a gift after being photographed by a lot of locals. I mean, that was quite nice. I don't know if the more rural parts of China will be like this for much longer. As the rate of urbanization and globalization that we saw in Kunming, it kind of projects a different future. It's kind of crazy to imagine how these already developed places will end up in the next 5 or 10 years' time. Next time,